Namaste, dear listeners. Welcome to the AIWA channel, Astro In with Abhi, Oneness in Astrology and Spirituality, bringing in awareness by Abhi. So, on my previous podcast, I spoke about karmic evolutionary process, what it is, and here I'm going to talk about how this impacts relationships. And here there's a question that was given to me, Abhi. I have been in two relationships, and none of my partners who have been with committed. Why? What does it say in my charts? Because I feel that the universe is against me. And this is a very valid question. It's a valid question. Because if you don't know how the universe works, as a consequence of this, you would always think that you are the victim and everything is against you. But if you understand how the universe works, then you will come to such a realization that you are the universe and that you have the necessary tools to create whatever it is that you want to attract anything that you want. And this might sound as a cliche, it might sound, um, everybody saying this who is talking on spiritual podcasts and whatever. Yes, you may find it. But to the ones that can actually see how how nature is working, nature will not alter where alter finds. This is how nature works. So here I'm going to talk about the consequences of not evolving and letting the ego play in relationships, and as a consequence of why there's no commitment. So your birth chart will show me exactly at which age and which year relationships may come through or happen, and at which, through the use of your Navamsa chart, Lagna chart, and your Rasi chart, at which year marriage is possible. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that the marriage would last. That doesn't necessarily mean that the marriage might, before you can get married, it might get cancelled. That doesn't necessarily mean that your partner may not cheat on you. All of these things will happen. Why? Of various circumstances. It could be that there's interest elsewhere. It could be maybe your partner is just deck of you. It could be maybe your partner is not ready to settle down, and there's various reasons to that. Or Abhi, um, he or she was ready before. How come they're not anymore? Okay, what did you do to create some fear or doubt in them? Guys, beautiful people, we must remember nobody makes decisions and just out of the air. There's always a reason behind it. And if you do not have a cordial, not cordial, if you do not have a healthy communication or have healthy communication in the relationship, you are bound to have disaster. Because your partner will never be able to express his or her true feelings out of fear and creating chaos. Look, if there's no commitment happening or commitment was taken away, there's a reason for it. What did you do? What did you do to lead up to that? Or what did he or she did or encountered for them to change? Now that's intelligence. That's it. There's always, we got to look at the reason for the shift in consciousness. So there is a shift in consciousness. He or she was conscious to the idea of commitment or marriage before. What has contributed to the shift in consciousness from agreeing to commitment to not wanting it anymore? There's a reason for it. And intelligence is looking at the reason for it. Not, oh, he or she must be found somebody else. It's very easy to, pass the buck, or he or she has found somebody else, therefore they don't want to commit. Or he or she doesn't want to commit because they're not ready. Dear people, most people are ready. They just lost interest because they are doubting that you are the person that's going to bring them peace in that situation or in that relationship. Now, remember that this is my awareness based on how I do my readings. I'm always talking about the real life stuff that happens. I'm not going to talk about purely what's in your charts. Remember, what's in your charts is what's in your charts. But that's not set in stone. If I tell you that in your chart you're definitely gonna get married in 3 years from now, definitely, what you're gonna do? You're gonna go and enjoy yourself. You're gonna go out partying, drinking because you know your life will be made. Abhi told me I'm gonna get married in 3 years. I'm gonna find a nice rich partner, and they're gonna do everything. And then boom, nothing happens. Why? And each person you meet, they leave you. Why? Because they're seeing something in you what is not marriage material. So that seed that was planted in your head has now worked against you. Why? Because you've used that, and you've used it from a point of being selfish. I'm perfect. I don't need to do any inner work. I just need to enjoy because somebody will be there for me in the end. Selfishness. And selfishness is a very low vibration. And when you vibrate low, you will attract low vibration experiences in your life. And one of it is cancellations of commitment, pulling back commitment, divorce. Now, astrology, numerology, and monology will always tell you exactly the difficulties, which years you're going to have difficulties. It will tell you which areas of your life that you need to focus on and develop yourself. But it's your duty to take that and put that at your priority. But most human beings, what they do is what they take from the sessions. When will I be rich? When will I buy a car? When will I buy a house? When will I get married? When will I have children? That is what you're taking out of the reading, and that is your biggest downfall. Intelligence is what I should take out from the reading is what are the things that I need to develop myself on to get me there? That what are my development areas in life? And up till date, I can safely say that I can actually count the people that have actually asked me, Abhi, what are my development areas? I can count them. I'm not going to give an actual number, but I can count them. Because remember, commitment is a very big thing. To commit means to never alter or to shift regardless of what may come through. That is commitment. And to make such a commitment in today's world is not an easy thing to do because it allows the other person to behave how they want to behave because you have made commitment. And if you are in such a position where you have manipulated a situation to your advantage because commitment was given, when commitment was taken away from you, do take that very seriously and build yourself from there. Don't remain the same person and think that time will make the person behave differently towards you because time wouldn't. In fact, the more you don't rectify your work on your development areas, the more painful it will become in the end because only time will tell that time will prove that due to the inability of developing on certain characteristics of oneself, time just made it worse. Because I have a lot of people that tell me this, Abhi, I thought this will change, I thought that will change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You need to be the change. If you know that you have erred, own up to it. Take accountability. How can you say you love somebody you with, but you're not accountable when you know you should be accountable? The ego. How can you say you love the person and you want to spend the rest of your life with them, but you cannot see that you are wrong? Why? Because it hurts your ego. And this is a kind of thing that is happening in many people's relationships. Yes, the person may come back to you, but they will never come back to you the same person again. They will come back stronger and wiser. And you will never get that version that you once had of them. And you can do how many readings you want to do. You can speak to how many different people. That person who you got back will never be the same person that you could that you could have power like before. Why? Because such a person, if they came back to you to see if you evolved. And if you haven't, then if the person that you with is kind of intuitive, the person will be able to see that it is just heading in the same direction. There will be no commitment. And time will prove to you that nothing will happen. And that's the karma. So the karmic return is very painful if you know that you are the reason for commitment to be broken. You are the reason, but through the use of your thought, your word, and action karma, you are the reason for things to go sour. And if you've never taken accountability of it, the karmic return will be very painful. It may be in the same relationship, or it may come in another form. But the karma is inevitable. Jai Shri Ram, I hope the message is clear and across. It is understood as it said, without any alteration, as the message is. The message is where this karmic evolutionary process needing to be happened, and if it hasn't happened, don't expect that commitment to be there. Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, dear listeners. Take care.